Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to invite you to day 13 of the vicious war in Ukraine. Some people already say that this is the beginning of a third world war. Putin have launched an attack on Ukrainian nation, on Ukrainian people, and possibly on all Europe. Today we are going to speak with people who are defending Kiev right now, who are defending their country right now. And my guest today in the studio is Alexei Zaklitsky, who is a member of People's Territorial Defense Forces. Alexei, good afternoon.
Alexander, not Alexei.
Alexander.
Alexander.
Sorry, Alexander.
Good morning or good evening. What is the time in? We have an evening in Kiev.
We're still in the afternoon. We're still in the afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon, London. First of all, I want to apologize. My English not so good as it can be, but I hope you understand me.
Thank you, Alex. No worries. My English is all right, but I couldn't pronounce your name because I just always confuse with Ukrainian names. However, Alexander, how do you feel? Day 13. Did you ever think that you will stand up to Putin for so long?
Well, from the first minutes of this conflict, we have no doubt that we will win. The question is only the price of victory. Because you understand that Russia is a terrorist state. And they have no borders. They have no rules in his warfare activity. A lot of yesterday I was in Central Child Clinical Hospital.
And this hospital was bombed, right?
Wounded babies. No, it wasn't bombed, but Russians use weapons against civilians. They know that here is civilians. They said that we come to Ukraine to liberate it against the Nazis and the fascists and to save Russian language people. But as a matter of fact, it's not true at all. No one in Ukraine have no problem if he speak Russian or Belarusian or Ukrainian or English or Hindi, anything. It's okay. We are very inclusive nation and very inclusive country. And the only way, what is the problem? That Putin use Russian language as an instrument of aggression, as a casus belli.
I think that's the colonial politics of Russia that always was there. Soviet Union was based on Russian language. And
Yes.
It looks like this is just the colonial regime of Putin that he would like to bring everywhere, to Georgia, to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Belarus, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. I remember Soviet Union, and I remember how people have to speak Russian. Polish people had to speak Russian.
Yes.
It wasn't their choice. It was the requirement of the state as their loyalty to a Russian Empire, as it was during the Soviet Union.
Yes, that's it. And there's another big instrument of as a weapon, the soft power weapon, is Russian culture. Because if you love something from Russian culture, you have love not only culture, but also you have to love Putin. You have to love all Russian policy and all Russian political activities.
Yes, I understand.
But
All weapons are used.
unless it works, especially in Germany and France. But you know, I'm in a peaceful time. I'm a little bit translator. I translate into Ukrainian for the book of Gerald Darrell.
Mhm.
You know, Gerald Darrell was one of the most famous zoologist and popularizer of species saving, and like now, like David Attenborough, Sir
Mhm.
David Attenborough, and when I translate it, first of all, of course, I was in love with I'm in love with this his sometimes easy and sometimes very sophisticated language, and you know, okay, what about Russian literature and Russian culture? It only 200 years, and for example, hello.
This is the live
Oh,
camera
okay, yes,
from Kiev. We can see what's going on in your
and
city.
if we take Great Britain, British culture, from, for example, even from taken from times of Chaucer,
Mhm.
but as a matter of fact, more, it's a really great culture. But
Absolutely.
for a lot of ex uh, ex-Soviet people, they don't know about it. They thought that only one great culture is a Russian culture.
I absolutely agree to that, that not many Russian school children were taught about the greatest of the world literature. Majority of the literature was thought of only Russian, and I think Taras Shevchenko was the only poet of Ukraine, and Yakub Kolos and Yanko Kupala was only sort of poets in Belarus, and the rest was studied not in depth because Russian culture was pronounced the greatest, and that pan-Russism was always there in Soviet Union, and it is even more taught at schools now, because now Russia is trying to recreate the empire that was in even before the Soviet Union. Russian Empire in its most barbaric state, if I can say that, because now Russia treats Ukraine as some sort of subservient country that not supposed to exist at all. Belarus they already occupied, and Belarusian dictator just let them run into the country, which is absolutely terrible. However, that Russian propaganda is trying to beat everybody into submission, that Russian culture, Russian philosophy, Russian ideas, and also Putin himself is the most important person. Now, Russia is trying to use the same narrative that Hitler used in his time. And I think,
Absolutely.
strangely enough, but Putin tries to steal Hitler's ideas and Stalin's ideas at the same time. Right now, Putin is creating this blackmail of Europe in a very Stalin's way, the nuclear blackmail of Europe, and at the same time introducing Hitler's genocide narrative, like Ukrainians have to be all killed, never later destroyed, and don't allow to exist. So as I'm sure will be with Belarus, so as will be with Lithuanians, Latvians, Estonians, Moldovians, and everybody else Putin will lay his hands on. However, we see that Russian soldiers who supposed to be brave and go and fight Ukrainians right now are not in a good moral state. What do you know about it from within Ukraine?
Well, they thought that it was a easy picnic. That it will be the easy picnic that we have no that we are will be um, mm,
Easy
glad
peasy.
glad to see him. Yes, that they will colonize us and give us the lights of the of the Russian war. But as a matter of fact, they have problems from the start. And I have to see said, God save the Queen. Thank you all the British nation that they gave now us in-laws, because it's very helpful for speaking with Russian soldiers. Really, it's a wonderful. Sometimes
Thank you very much.
we call in-law the Grandma Lisa cookies. Well,
Wonderful.
and of course it's one of the most helpful thing that we have, but also if we haven't, we use a Molotov cocktail.
It's fantastic.
It's also
the bravery of the people is fascinating. We all
well, we have some assault rifles, but the man who hasn't used just a hunting rifles. All we have.
The bravery of people in Ukraine are fantastic. We all watch your extreme bravery, how you push the occupiers away from your land with Molotov cocktails, with every possible weapon you can find, and also just with standing up to them and telling them to go home and showing them that they're not welcome there. Because I'm sure Putin have been spreading this propaganda for years about Ukrainians who are all suppressed there, and that they all waiting for Russians to come. Of course, Russian soldiers coming to the territory of Ukraine find it fascinating that people not only welcoming them, they fighting them and they killing them, and they are not willing to submit to Russian idea of Russia is the only country in the world and that Russia is the greatest country. And I can see this support to each other on every level. And now I would like to put on video for you guys of the little girl who is singing in the bomb shelter and in the just to cheer herself up and cheer up of everybody who are there with her.
Она решила исполнить вам песню для поднятия боевого духа. Амелия Анисович.
This is for support of your,
Сейчас все не будут шуметь.
your bravery.
Можно немножечко тишины?
She's asking for silence.
Будь хорошей девочкой для всех, закрой все чувства на замок, навечно отпусти и забудь, что прошло уже не вернуть. Отпусти и забудь, новый день он кажет путь. Не боюсь ничего уже. Пусть бы шум ничто, холод всегда мне был по душе, а я иду все выше, на ледяную плащ, и страха не вернувшись, меня пора узнать, что я могу, на помощь призову тебе во льдах навечно отпусти и забудь, что прошло уже не вернуть. Отпусти и забудь, новый день он кажет путь.
Браво, браво, умница! Умница!
It was from the Frozen Heart song. If you pay attention, this girl is Russian speaking, yeah. So it's a family that Russians come to save.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, a lot of Russian speaking people killed because of shelling of civilians.
I just want to say what this girl was singing about. Sorry, Alex, just a second. She was singing that new day will come and you will forget everything. Whatever happened, you need to let go of it and look forward to a new day. So I think it was really brave song. And yes, I do understand that many Russian families who are simply lived in Ukraine, there is no problem with Russian language in Ukraine. Yes, a Ukrainian language is the state language, but Russian language is absolutely fine. And people who speak Russian and prefer to speak Russian have no problem in Ukraine, because even television programs are presenters speak both languages. So everybody understands Russian language, but not everybody choose to speak Russian language. Ukrainians want to speak their own language, and this is absolutely normal. This is not a crime. However, Putin tries to use this narrative as an excuse to invade Ukraine, to put it under his thumb, to establish his control on those territories. And I don't understand what he is trying to do, probably to put oil prices up in the world. That's probably what he's trying to do, because there's no other logical reasons for this invasion. What do you think?
Excuse me, it's please repeat the question, because it's very a lot of people here.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I will say it. I will repeat. What I've said is that there is no logical excuse for Putin to come into Ukraine. He cannot control the country. But I think that what he's trying to do is put the price of oil a little bit up, or much more up.
You know, the price of oil, it's just on the instrument. Well, you understand that Putin is as a clinical, he's a psychopath with willing of avenge, because he told a lot of time that the greatest catastrophe of the 20th century, it's not the World War II. The greatest catastrophe in his mind, the demolition of Soviet Union, demolition of this prison of a lot of nations and a lot of countries. And the main goal for him is to get back it, yes, like a Sauron in Mordor.
Yes, together
again.
He's saying that countries have to become together, and he's saying that will somehow make it all better. I don't understand how, because countries moved on so much. Kazakhstan moved on, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia moved on completely. It's a proper, normal European country. Poland has never been part of Soviet Union, but was under huge Soviet Union influence.
But it was a part of Russian Empire. That is why Putin also has plans for Poland.
So the Russian Empire has to be restored in its former glory. However, if we look at the land of Russia that are now getting slowly occupied by Chinese, he doesn't mind their territories to be given away to China. However, is he trying to move Soviet Union in his ideas, or Russia into Ukraine and Eastern Europe, whilst his own Russian territories will be given to China? We start thinking about that now.
Well, we know when Russia took this territory, it was 19th century. It was Gashish Wars, or not as Gashish, Opium Wars.
Opium Wars.
Yes, Opium Wars between China, United States, and Great Britain. And when it take apart, the Russians use the moment and occupy the part of China, the northern part of China, and it became a part of Russia. So of course, in this side, in this here, I understand the Chinese, because they want to get back their stand.
Yes, they want to return their, as they call it, historical territories back to China.
Another problem that China is the same shit as Russia.
It's a very authoritarian.
It's very totalitarian, and they had a huge amount of money, and they trying to dictate to other world what to do.
They'd like to dictate to the rest of the world what to do, of course.
And you know, after Russia, it will become the new world's problem.
We can see,
because communism is the same shit as Nazism and fascism. Absolutely the same shit.
Totalitarian regime is never a good news. And now when Russia is showing its weakness, and we will look in a second to what happens to Russian tanks when they are coming to Ukrainian territory and what Ukraine does to them. Let's hear the. I'm sure somebody will recognize Polish soldiers swearing. There are lots of Polish soldiers now fighting on Ukrainian side. So if we can have this footage, please.
Що ми тут наробили?
Роз'єбане руське гувно.
Так, роз'єбане руське говно. Там далі покажи туди. Вон там этого говна, блядь, ціла дорога, курва, є. Рушнику, курва. І то, курва, кубета українська наводила артилерію на то говно, курва. Ми їх спочатку там роз'їбали з проду, вони почали відходити до тилу, і їх тут всіх роз'їбали, тут їхня смерть настала.
Chodź do przodu.
Przyjebali wszystko, co zachodziło tutaj w Ukrainę i już pocisnęli ich do zwrotu. I wszystko, co dalej zachodzi, wszystko na marszy, ich bije.
Well, this is the glorious footage of the Russian war machine out of order.
If you hear the details, these great warriors. I'm absolutely happy to see our Polish brothers and our friends, Polish warriors. And one of them said that there was a girl, Ukrainian girl, who still here and correct the artillery.
The artillery navigator. Yes.
Correct the artillery for this Russian column of vehicles.
And we can see now the footages everywhere, because there are hundreds of kilometers of Russian force that was columns of Russian soldiers who were coming into Ukraine to just move through the country. And now all those machinery, all those weapons are standing out of order, burned, and very often couldn't move anywhere else.
Yes.
After Ukrainian army have attacked them.
Or Ukrainian resistance.
Resistance have stopped them. And I've heard that people like you, who were just stopping those machines, were able to hold off the soldiers for a long enough time for the artillery to understand where they are, and that then hit them. However, right now we can see that still there are plenty of weaponry there. There are plenty of machines there, which are continue trying to take Kiev. Do you feel it from the inside?
Yes, you understand that the whole Russian Federation myth are based on the Kievan Rus fundament.
Oh,
Uh,
Kiev, like
because
historical. Kiev
because
is the historical heart where
yes,
Russia began
it
from.
is a historical heart which was become in 9th century,
Ninth
and
century. Ninth century.
9th century, and was one of the most powerful kingdom of the East Europe. As you know, the Prince Yaroslav was very powerful, and his daughters became queens of a lot of European kingdoms. For example, Anne de Kiev, Anne, the queen of France,
We are
and
talking about medieval Europe.
and Prince Vladimir, who took the Christianity.
Right, yeah, Vladimir brought Christianity.
Yes,
in
he is
Kiev.
also the Prince of Kiev, not Moscow, because it doesn't exist at all. It was a swamp, just a place with swamp and frogs. That is why they need Kiev first of all as a symbol, and this is the first point, and the next point that if they need Kiev, take Kiev, because they if they have Kiev, they said, okay, we have a capital. That is why we put new president, and you have to listen what he said. They are idiots. They are idiots because we are listen what we think. And
absolutely, and I've heard that Yanukovych, the former president, who was already thrown out of power in 2014, is now close by on a standby to come into Kiev and be established as the new ruler. I wonder what people will do to him. And also, in many tanks, we can see that soldiers were carrying the parade uniform to go on a parade in Kiev, and they were expecting victory to be happening in a couple of days. Do you think there is a chance for it to happen?
No chances. You know, now in Kiev, I think near 40,000 of Kalashnikov rifles, and well, a little bit of NLOs, and also with a little bit of Stingers, and lots of cocktails, of Molotov cocktails. That is why we will fight for every building. We will fight for every street, for every home. We have no choice, because, for example, me is I'm listed in blacklists from 2014 as an activist of Maidan, and there was in this blacklist was a recommendation to kill me. Okay, I have no choice, and I don't want to make a choice. It's my Kiev, it's my city, it's my Ukraine. I will fight.
Thank you.
And all other people will fight, because Kiev and Ukraine is a part of Europe. And maybe sometimes our dream about Europe is most beautiful than real Europe is. And when all this negotiation with Putin starts, you know, I said my British friends, okay, guys, now I understand why you exit from Europe Union, because you know uh, they just put a piece of sheet on the main principles that all European Union builds. I mean the ideas of humanism and human rights, and they trying to play in a very shitty, bloody game which name realpolitik.
Mm.
And especially Germans and Frau Merkel, which we
Oh yeah, for
sometimes.
years they had fantastic relationship with Putin, and I think that
Yes,
more than enough
maybe
dependency was built
they
during
even
this
sometimes
time.
kisses. I think, but because I have no explanation how it was, why Germans tolerate all this bloody shit Russia done for 20 years.
I think
Maybe
the reason was economic, purely
she
economic
is a
reasons.
lover of Putin. I know
It
I
is a
have no
very
explanation.
interesting conversation, Alex, and I'm sure we should invite somebody from Germany who would be able to tell us how it
Yes,
happened. And I'm sure many people in Germany right now wondering how it happened. And many people in Russia wondering how it happened that Russia became such a fascist state. And many people
I
in
understand
England
how.
wonder what happened and how England closed ties so much with the Russian oligarchs and how it all became so difficult to untie right now. This is the serious global conversation people are having now around the world. But I would like to see now what people in Kiev think about their town, because many people started living as normal in Kiev because it's their home and they don't see themselves out of the town. Can we have a look at those brave people, please?
Всі кажуть, чого ви не їдете з Києва, з центру, саме епіцентр. Ми в себе вдома. Ну, на хвилі новин, як це кажуть, спочатку було страшно, а зараз, якщо чесно, найбільше надихає наша армія, яка нас так відчайдушно захищає, хлопці, які себе самі підривають на мостах. Оце найбільше все, що надихає. Ми не прийшли ні до кого і тікати з дому. Я не знаю, я до останнього не маю ніякого бажання це робити. Я не знаю, це наш дім.
It's an extremely beautiful city. Kiev is wonderful. As
Well,
territorial,
I hope it will be the same in
after the war.
after,
Alex,
after victory, after
after victory,
our victory,
absolutely.
and of course we will be very happy to see all British citizens in Ukraine. Welcome to Ukraine, guys.
Thank you very much. I'm
We are
sure
waiting.
everybody
We
will
are
want to
waiting.
go and help and see you and salute you and say thank you for protecting you and your freedom and our freedom. Today at 5 o'clock, London time, Vladimir Zelensky will address the House of Commons, and we're waiting for the speech. It will be historical speech, and we invite everybody to come and watch it together with us on our channel.
Thank you.
Alex,
Thank you.
last question, because I know you are busy and you need to go. The territorial defense forces, how easy it is to join, and what kind of ammunition you have right now?
Well, it's quite easy. It's if you heard about the Zaporizhia siege, the organization which then used in the Dune, yeah, also as a siege. You have to come and said that I'm Orthodox Christian. I believe in God, and so show the cross and drink some horilka, not vodka.
Okay.
And that is quite. That was quite enough to become a member of Zaporizhia siege. And as a matter of fact, in the territorial defense, you have to take your passport and your ID code for to ID code of not the custom office, but okay, doesn't
It
matter.
is equivalent of national insurance number, I guess.
Yes, a kind of it. And come to the nearest commissariat, defense commissariat, and said, okay, I'm ready. Here am I, and then sign the contract, and you become a member of defense. Well, about ammunition, yes, as you can see, I have no helmet. It's my beret, my own
Scarf.
Scarf. Yes, my own fleece, fleece and jacket. But a lot of things and a lot of wares volunteers send us. But as a matter of fact, a huge number of people all over the Ukraine want to fight for freedom and liberty. That is why, of course, we need more ammunition. But first of all, we need more weapons.
Weapons. Yes, weapons is important, and also protection.
And
body armor, helmets.
And the main thing is we begging to close the sky, not only for childs which are wounded every day. Yesterday I was in a child clinical hospital. It's terrible because a lot of childs are wounded because of bombing, because of artillery, because of missile strikes, Russian missile strikes. And that is why we are asking to cover the sky, not only because of that. The main thing, not even that, the main thing that Russian forces trying to siege the Zaporizhia nuclear plant. As a matter of fact, right now, it was a shelling of nuclear plant and there was a fire.
There were lots of information on British news about
yes,
that fire.
Yes,
and it's quite a great concern for our safety, absolutely.
It's not a Chernobyl, but Chernobyl is occupied by Russians already. And Zaporizhia nuclear plant is on the south of Ukraine, has 6 reactors. And if it explodes, it will be nuclear catastrophe in the center of Europe, which is 3 times bigger than Fukushima.
Absolutely, and I think this is why Vladimir Putin is so keen on threatening us with that.
And in Chernobyl, they occupy Chernobyl nuclear plant. Now it is in a status of emergency. Right now,
Alex, the question let's answer a couple of questions. I'm sorry, people asking, are there any Russian volunteers working in Ukraine fighting against Russians?
Well, yes, there are some volunteers, not a lot of, but there are Russian volunteers, Belarusian volunteers, and Lithuanian volunteers.
We've heard Polish soldiers as well.
In our department, we have one Lithuanian guy, and also we have one from United States, and of course we are waiting for our friends all over the world, and we'll be glad to see everyone who wants to fight for liberty.
Thank you,
Well,
Alex.
and
I-
about nuclear plants,
yeah,
you know, Germans and French and even United States said, oh no, we can't cover the sky because it can be started third world war. It is started right now, guys. Open your eyes and look up and understand, realize that it started. You are afraid about nuclear conflict. Nuclear conflict is right now acting. One station is occupied and can be in now in situation of a breakdown. Another station, another nuclear station, another nuclear power plant are shelled by Russian rockets. Be asking for close the sky, not only for us, not only for our children, and not only for our women. We are asking to close the sky to all the Europe, and
for
this
the
is
Europe, to close
all the Europe,
for the
and this
safety
is
of the whole Europe.
whole
Absolutely.
Europe. And the next point that if the nuclear catastrophe disaster will take place, Ukraine can't grow the grain, and you know that 10% of world's grain
10% of world
are
grain
grown in Ukraine, and
growing
also
in Ukraine.
yes, and also the sunflower oil. I mean that it comes real hunger. Real hunger. Of course, it's not Europeans more safe because they have a lot of money. But for India, for Latin America,
Sorry, the transmission is interrupted. I understand that.
catastrophe.
Alex, could you please repeat, because we lost you for a second due to
It will be.
I understand it can be a bigger catastrophe that we even imagine.
Hello?
Humanitarian catastrophe as
Hello?
well. Yes,
Okay.
yes, please.
Okay, and the third point. Hello.
Yes, 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 we hear you. I think we've lost Alex for a second. Maybe he will come back to us. This is the day 13 of the war in Ukraine, and we are talking now about humanitarian toll after this war and during this war. We can see Kiev is right now relatively calm. Russian army is still trying to siege Kiev and Kharkiv, and already trying to occupy and take Mariupol. Then they will try to close the coast, take Odessa, and then Vladimir Putin will try probably to get out of this war or continue his advances, go and occupy even more territories, or retreat a little bit and try to establish some other power on the territories controlled by his army. They are already terrorizing people, terrorizing peaceful establishments, terrorizing buildings, terrorizing hospitals, kindergartens, bombing schools, and we can only wonder what his army will do, because even establishing humanitarian corridors are quite difficult. Russia is not trying to back off. Russia is trying to establish control and kill as many Ukrainians as possible. And this is the sad understanding of this conflict. Alex, you said point 3 was?
Okay,
Alex?
sorry, it was problems with connection. Hi, you know, we also have problems with Russians hackers, which are trying to disconnect us with the world. Well, the short point that you know, the Mariupol is one of the sieged cities of Ukraine. Is one of
Yeah.
the biggest metal mill and chemical plant.
Yeah.
Chemical plant is which working with the coal and making a lot of chemicals from coal. And now Mariupol is shelled from all.
It's sheltered, yeah.
Yes, and if it will be the catastrophe disaster on this chemical plant, all Azov Sea and all Black Sea will be poisoned. It becomes a dead seas, and also will be poisoned a lot of fresh water. It will be
Terrible.
the greatest ecological catastrophe in the world, and also it can provoke hunger, and I don't even imagine how many ecological problems, not only in Azov Sea and not only in the Black Sea, but also in the Mediterranean. Putin
It's terrible
is a
to
terrorist.
think about it, Alex. It's terrible. We have a question coming by because people, it's difficult even think about. And I'm sure that Vladimir Zelensky, when he's addressing Parliament today at 5 o'clock, will be addressing those issues, because it is not only Ukraine who are in danger. The whole Europe is in danger. This is the world problems we're discussing right now, and Ukraine is in the heart of it, and the conflict in Ukraine may lead to a much more bigger scale biological conflict, and also the disaster on the biological level and on humanitarian level, and I'm sure
In nuclear level, you understand
nuclear
that
level, it is really, really terrible, and we are overwhelmed, because when we think about it, we feel how small we are and how powerless we are, but we need to fight. The question that comes to our studio now is, can you explain the significance of that Z sign on the military vehicles of Russian army? What do they mean by that?
you see, it's one of the tactical signs, or one of them has a V, one of that has Z, and it's just different tactical groups of Russians. But Z as a zero, yes, maybe because war starts in 2022 of February. Maybe. By the way, I said about Avenger, the Putin think that he's the Avenger, yeah, and maybe he very loves symbols, and maybe it's like a Zorro.
Oh,
he think
Zorro.
he's a Zorro, yes, and wanted to revenge for demolished USSR. Maybe.
Quite
you know,
possibly,
he's
we are
very
speculating now.
he's very love symbols and numerous. So, and I think it might be like revenge of the Russian Zorro.
Yeah, some people
he's
say
not
that it
a
is from the
Zorro.
World War Z.
You know,
World
but
War
he's
Z.
he's not a Zorro. You know this
He's
thing.
He's Zero, not
thing,
Zorro.
Here is very famous Ukrainian song about Putin, which has the same motive as Speedy Gonzales. You know this? Putin хуйло, la 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 la. La 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 la. Well, so
Yes, I understand. I understand. There are lots of swear words about Putin, and I understand why. There were lots of swear words about the Russian army, and I also understand why. And we all hoping that this conflict will end. We lost Alex again. I think his internet connection is getting worse and getting weaker. However, the spirit of Ukrainian soldiers is very high. Spirit of Ukrainian people is very high. And I think we will end our transmission now and say thank you to everybody who came to talk to us today, to listen to us today. And please come back at 5 o'clock and watch with us the address of Vladimir Zelensky to the House of Commons today. Thank you very much. Very good evening.